Will the Mariners win the AL West? We'll answer that as we make our MLB predictions for the 2025 season. Coming up, Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, March 20th, 2025. This is Titan Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And as always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. So on today's show, we'll be predicting the 2025 MLB season. We'll give you division winners, wild cards, World Series champions, award winners, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to stick around to see what you can win in our newest giveaway. We're kicking that thing off today, and we got some cool stuff that we're going to be offering to you guys. So, yeah, be sure to stick around. We'll be going through all of that in a little bit, but let's start with the division winners here, Colby. And we'll save the AL West for last. So let's start with the NL, and we'll start with the NL East. I'm taking the Phillies here. Phillies are always a fun team to watch. I think you can make a strong argument that they're the second best team in baseball right now. Really like their roster from top to bottom. They didn't do too much this offseason, but I like what they did do this offseason. They traded for Jesus Luzardo. And we talk about how deep the Mariners rotation is. This Phillies rotation is pretty deep as well, 1 through 5. Any of those guys can go toe to toe with anyone on any given night. And that's not even factoring in, potentially Andrew Painter coming along eventually at some point this year. But obviously, it's Bryce, it's Trey Turner. JT Realmuto has fallen off a bit, but he's still a pretty solid player. Schwarber's going to hit a ton of bombs. Obviously, it's going to be a fun team. They added Max Kepler, who we've really liked, and he adds some much needed athleticism to that outfield. And Romano at the back end of that bullpen. We'll see what version of him they get, but we've seen Romano be dominant at times out of the Blue Jays bullpen. So really like their offseason. We'll see what they get out of Alec Boehm after Dave Dombrowski asked for the world for him this offseason. But really like that roster. It's going to be a tough division, though. I think they win it, but do you feel otherwise?
Yeah, I think Phillies, I would assume, is the favorite. I haven't checked out FanDuel for the official odds or anything. Always be plugging, but yeah, I'm sure they're the favorite in that division. I think it's probably a 3-team race this year. Washington, I like what they're building, but I think they're at least a year or so away, and they need some serious pitching. Miami, 4 or 5 years away. So it really comes down to the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves. I think the Braves are getting overlooked a little bit here. I know that they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're going to have Acuna back sooner rather than later. They're going to have Strider back sooner rather than later.
They did make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was that last game. Remember the last series that they played with the Mets? But yeah, didn't they get swept by the Padres? I think it was a 2-0 sweep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but again, it's you get Acuna, you get Strider back. There's still Olsen, there's Albies, there's Harris. The pitching's pretty good. The bullpen's pretty good. They added Jerks and Profar, so we'll see which version of him they get. But yeah, I think the Braves are pretty interesting. The Mets, I think, actually are a solid third place finish. I don't like their pitching at all. That is not a good.
And it's gotten hurt.
Mm-hmm. Right. And honestly, for a $300 million payroll or whatever it's at right now, I don't think it's a very well put together roster. Lindor and Soto will certainly, hide a lot.
They're going to mask they're going to mask a lot of the deficiencies on that team, but still.
I mean, yeah, to me though, I look at the Braves just have the edge in pitching over the Mets. Phillies probably have the best rotation in that division, arguably top 3 with Seattle and Los Angeles, I would say. So, yeah, the Phillies. The one thing about the Phillies, older group, is Schwarber's older, Harper. I mean, everybody's older, but you know what I mean. Like these are guys past 30 now, and
not a super athletic group either.
No, so there's some limitations there, but they're going to hit dingers. They're going to pitch. So they're a pretty easy pick here. But I'm going to go with the Braves. I think the Braves kind of have a bounce back season, so to speak. I do think it's going to be a battle all year. But I'll take the Braves. I think that lineup is really good, and it's still, again, Riley, Riley, Albies, Acuna. It's just a younger, more dynamic lineup than what the Phillies have, as good as the Phillies lineup is.
So FanDuel actually has the Braves at plus 125 to win the division, and the Phillies at plus 195.
Go Phillies. I'm taking no favorites today.
Right. Let's talk about the NL Central. This is a weird division. This is a division that is completely up in the air, just like the other Central division that we'll talk about later. I don't even know where to begin here. How are you feeling?
I feel like all 5 of these teams, if the luck lines up, could win this division. Pittsburgh, obviously, Paul Skeens and the young pitchers they have, but Jared Jones sounds like he might be headed towards Tommy John, so that'd be a pretty big blow for them. They lineup for Pittsburgh is still very mediocre, and obviously they're not going to spend money to try and help.
Before the Jared Jones news, I was kind of thinking about them as at least as a team that can get a little get a little frisky, maybe get hot, see what happens.
O'Neal Cruz finally breaks out, although he's got to learn how to play center field. So, Horowitz, nice piece. So,
but he's hurt.
Cincinnati, they might have the widest variable of any team.
Yeah.
They have a ton of young talent.
Yep.
Is it going to hit or not? And there's still
does Ellie take that next step into being like an MVP type of dude?
Right. What do they have after Hunter Green that you can really count on? The bullpen. So, St. Louis, they very much want to take a step back this year, but it's a lot of veterans. They're older veterans, but they're still really good players on that team. So I can't completely write off St. Louis either. So when I think about this, I do think ultimately I'm between Milwaukee and Chicago. Chicago made the big move, obviously, Kyle Tucker. Probably the biggest move of the offseason outside of Soto. So, I think the temptation here is to go with Chicago, but Milwaukee won it last year. Milwaukee is fantastic with their player development. They're very creative when it comes to trades. They have the farm system. The Cubs have a good one too. So these two teams could go, kind of blow for blow at the deadline this year. But I think I'm going to take Milwaukee to edge out the Cubs. I think that's where I'm at.
Even with the loss of Adames?
That's a big question. What do you do at shortstop?
I think it's Joey Ortiz.
It's Joey Ortiz, Turang staying at second. Yeah. I do feel like the Brewers could really use one more power bat. Eugenio Suarez would go hard in the Brewers lineup. But it is what it is. I trust the Brewers to prevent runs at a high level. I know they lost Devin Williams too, but the Brewers they're very similar to the Mariners, just in terms of what they do well and all that stuff. So I'll take the Brewers here, but I really do think any of these, write me a script for any of these 5 teams to win this division, I could totally buy it.
The Brewers rotation gives me pause because it's Freddie Peralta and then a lot of 4s and 5s.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see if the Tobias Myers thing was real. But
I think he's dinged up too. So
keep
an eye on that. I think so.
Yeah. But they're still really talented. They have Contreras, Jackson Chourio really came on late last year. Turang is a solid player. Joey Ortiz had a really good year. Yeah, Garrett Mitchell. We'll see if Frelick becomes something.
They always build super good bullpens.
I'm gonna go with the Cubs, just because they added. They have a really good roster already. They added a top 10 player to it. I don't feel great about it though.
Kyle Tucker is going to do what Cody Bellinger did for them last year. So there you go.
But it's also possible that Tucker gets traded at the deadline this year. So
if the Cubs fall out of it, and that's the other thing too. If any team can win the division, any team can get off to a really bad start and be surprise sellers in July. So I know Mariner fans, or I know the Mariners front office, I should say, is definitely hoping that the Cubs do fall off, because I think there's a certain someone they'd love to add to the infield mix. But
Yeah.
I'll still take the Brewers.
And then the NL West is a very quick
Dodgers,
discussion.
move on.
Dodgers. Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on. As good as the Diamondbacks are and the Padres are, like, I'm not even second guessing this. This is the Dodgers. Yeah.
No.
All right, so we are going to get into our AL division winners, our wild cards for both leagues, and award winners and all that, and also talk a little bit about our upcoming giveaway, or the giveaway that we're kicking off today, in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Upwork and FanDuel. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Whatever it is you need, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, folks, it's that time of year again. March Madness is finally here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. That's FanDuel.com. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So we are exactly a week away from opening day. And to celebrate, we are kicking off our latest giveaway. We teased it a little bit yesterday. Now we're actually going to get into all the details, all the stuff you can win, how you can enter, all that good stuff. Colby, take it away.
Yeah, this is a pretty exciting giveaway. It is, like all of our other giveaways, a tiered giveaway. So the more subscribers we add, the more gets added to the prize pack. But unlike our other giveaways, this one's a little bit different because there will only be one grand prize winner. So one person will walk away with all eligible prizes. We have certain thresholds we need to meet to continue to add to the prize pack. But in the prize pack right now already is this Victor Robles autograph card and a $25 gift certificate to Simply Seattle. When we hit 12.75 subscribers, which I think we're only 20 away from right now, the prize pack will also then include this JP Crawford autograph card, good player JP Crawford autograph card, and another $25 Simply Seattle gift certificate. When we reach 12.8K, if we do, we will add in this Eugenio Suarez autograph card and another $25 gift certificate. If we reach 12,850, you'll get another $25 Simply Seattle gift certificate will be added to the prize pack. At 12.9, this is a fun one. We will be adding this Felnin Celestin autograph card, 12 out of 15.
It's a nice looking card.
Yeah. We'll be adding that to the prize pack as well at 12.95 K subs. If we get there, it will be an additional $25 gift card. And if we do hit 13,000, which is kind of the goal, we will add this Lazaro Montes autograph card to the giveaway. So if we reach 13,000 subscribers, you are going to walk away with somebody is going to walk away with $125 of Simply Seattle gift cards and a Victor Robles autograph card, a JP Crawford autograph card, and a Eugenio Suarez autograph card, a Felnin Celestin autograph, and a Las Montes autograph. So really big prize pack. It's very simple, like all of our giveaways. Very simple to enter. All you have to do, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on any of the videos, any videos we post between today and April 3rd, which is when the giveaway ends. It runs through the Mariners' first homestand. So yeah, again, just subscribe and leave a comment. That's all you have to do. We will randomly select one comment from one randomly selected video, and that person will have an opportunity to claim the prize pack. And again, it is tiered, it is structured. So the more people who subscribe, the bigger the prize pack gets. But right now already, if we didn't add another subscriber, we're going to give away a Victor Robles autograph card and a $25 gift card to Simply Seattle. So next up, the JP Crawford and another $25 at Simply Seattle. Get yourself some swag from Simply Seattle.
Terms and conditions. That's right. Would love to be, though. Hit us up. Terms and conditions down in the description of this episode. Also in the description of the episode on streaming platforms. So like if you're listening on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff, you can check it out there as well. But yeah, so this is up to you guys to make this prize as big as you want it to be. So if you're already subscribed, please tell friends, family, all that good stuff to subscribe as well. Maybe you guys could split the pack between each other, right? So yeah. All right. So let's get back into our division winners here. We're now in the American League. AL East. How are you feeling about the AL East?
Yeah. It felt like despite all their losses, the Yankees were a pretty good bet here to repeat.
Yeah.
But then they lost Garrett Cole. And that is a massive blow. Luis Gil is also dealing with something. So it's pretty big injuries there. Like Marcus Stroman right now is like the number 3 starter.
Yeah, you subtract Juan Soto and Garrett Cole from this roster, things change significantly.
It's still a good solid roster, but again, we're talking about arguably the best pure hitter in baseball and the best pitcher in baseball. Being gone from a World Series team just a year ago. So yeah, they've added Devin Williams, cool. They've added Bellinger and Goldschmidt. So like, it's not 2019.
I know there's gonna be some weird devil Yankee magic that happens with Goldschmidt.
Sure,
this
but
year.
It's not 2019 Paul Goldschmidt. Like this is obviously not the same guy. So yeah, Giancarlo Stanton's got like tennis elbow in both elbows or something weird like that. So this is already a pretty banged up squad. The Red Sox really loaded up this year. The Orioles obviously have a ton of young talent. The Rays are always sneaky annoying, and they have a really good bullpen. And then the Blue Jays, I mean, they have Vlad and they have Bo, so you can't rule out anything there. But I think it's pretty safe to say they're not going to win the division this year. But they might be a sneaky wildcard team. So yeah, all that being said, I think almost by default, I'm going to take the Red Sox to win this division.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Red Sox as well. They actually kind of remind me of the Rangers from a couple of years ago, especially with the influx of young talent that they're probably going to get over the course of the year.
More stable pitching, though.
Yeah. No, I like their pitching better than the Rangers a couple of years ago. I think their rotation is deeper. I like the Crochet ad. I mean, we'll see how real Crochet's 2024 was and how he's able to hold up over a longer amount of or a heavier amount of workload that'll be asked of him. But they also bring in Bregman. They'll have Roman Anthony at some point, Christian Campbell, Marcelo Mayer. We'll see how much those guys are able to contribute. But
not if Tristan Casas has anything to say about it.
That's right, she is. But also speaking of Tristan Casas, right, we'll see what they get out of him. Jaron Duran, another year of him. Wilyer Abreu had a really solid year this past year. Really like that roster. The bullpen is solid. There isn't really like a standout guy in that bullpen, but they have a few solid arms in there.
Probably the closest.
Yeah. Justin Slayton, and we'll see what they get out of Liam Hendricks and Aroldis Chapman and all those guys. But yeah, I think the Red Sox are the most balanced team in the AL East. We'll see what happens with the Orioles. The Orioles are fascinating, but they didn't really do much this offseason. They lost Santander. They replaced him with Tyler O'Neill. They had the weirdest trade deadline. They didn't bring back Corbin Burns. Yeah, they ended up replacing Burns with Zach Eflin, who they got at the deadline essentially. Yeah. So
Eflin or Savali, I get those two guys mixed up.
Yeah, no, they They added Eflin at the deadline, but that's essentially their like Burns replacement this year.
Added Sagano. Like, we'll see if that even matters.
Oh yeah, Charlie Morton was the guy that I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
that's the other guy that they signed in the rotation. So yeah, I don't know. The Orioles are weird. They were really disappointing in the playoffs this past year. They have a ton of talent, and they're going to get even more talent. And we'll see, if Jackson Holiday finally pops for them. See if Colby Mayo eventually makes his way up to the big league level. Basayo. See what those guys are able to bring to the table. But yeah, that's just a weird team.
Yeah, I mean, why go with Colby Mayo when you could play Ramon Urias?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take the Sox.
Yeah, I'll take the Sox as well. But I could see the Rays getting a little frisky too. We'll see how their pitching holds up. We'll see if McClanahan and Rasmussen can stay healthy. And then the Blue Jays, you know how we feel about the Blue Jays.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. The AL Central. Clearly, the answer here is the Chicago White Sox.
I'm gonna say what I said like 10 seconds ago. I'm taking the Sox.
So this is another division that's just up in the air, like the NL Central. It could be any of the four teams other than the White Sox. Part of me wants to pick the Twins, even though they literally did nothing this offseason.
I like that pitching staff.
Yeah,
but it's like a lot of your offense viability depends on Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis, and Byron Buxton staying healthy. And by the way, Lewis is already hurt with a pretty severe hamstring injury, it looks like.
Yeah.
It's so tough to trust them.
The Guardians are a weird team because they very clearly overachieved last year, but it's a good pitching staff.
I could see the Guardians winning like 76 games this year.
Yeah.
I could also see them winning like 90.
Yeah. Obviously, they have Jose Ramirez. Yeah, Royals is a good pick. I think I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Mm-hmm. The Tigers, another team that drastically overachieved last year.
I'll go with the Tigers, but I don't feel great about it. Just like I don't feel great about the Cubs pick in the NL Central.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here we are. The AL West. Is it the Mariners?
By double-digit games on June 15th.
Oh no. Oh, God.
They're going to run away with it. Not only are they going to win it, Ty, they're going to run away with it. Yeah, you know what's interesting about this division? Fangraphs, their projections, have the Mariners winning 84 games, the Astros winning 84 games, and the Rangers winning 84 games. So
yeah,
it's truly
that makes sense. That makes sense when you really look at all three of these teams.
I think the temptation here is to take Texas because they had arguably the best offseason. But I still have major questions about that pitching staff. I have major questions about the bullpen still. So yeah, and they had a gap that they needed to make up. It wasn't like they were starting even with Seattle and Houston. Now Seattle didn't do anything to, keep the gap where it was. And Houston, like, as much as it'd be like, they got Paredes, like, and he's such a great fit for that ballpark. Like, yeah, cool. They also lost Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman. Like,
yeah. The Astros, to me, like, at best, they're in the same spot that they were in.
I think that's being generous.
Yeah, and that's assuming that like Isak Paredes does explode, like people think he's going to, and Christian Walker stays healthy and he's like a 3 to 4 win player.
Doesn't continue to decline off of the fastball, which has been a 3-year thing running right now. Yeah, you don't want to write out the Astros as bad as their offseason was because they're the Astros. They'll pull some 4-win pitcher out of their backside and.
Hunter Brown's probably going to be a Cy Young contender this year.
Spencer Spaghetti is going to shove against the Mariners and so it's a really tough division here to pick, but I think I'm going to take the team with the best pitching staff. Yeah. And that is the Texas Rangers. So I'm going to take the Mariners to win the division. How about that? I think it's going to be very close. I think it is a 3-team race, and I think this division is going to be won by with 88 wins. Yeah.
The pitching is the great equalizer. I've gone back and forth on this so much. You guys are going to see we did an AOS preview with all the other AOS show hosts. In that show, I picked the Rangers, and since then I've flip-flop even more. Right? It's just you just laid it out, right? With the FanGraphs projections. Like, it's truly a coin toss here. If there were 3 sides to a coin, though. FanDuel has it up. Go ahead.
It's like a roll of the dice, right? The Mariners are 1-2, Astros 3-4, Rangers 5-6.
Yeah. Like, FanDuel has the Astros at plus 175, Rangers at plus 185, Mariners at plus 200.
Statistical tie, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
yeah. Say it with your chest. Mariners by 5 games. Assuming not a single extra start is missed by George Kirby or anybody in the rotation.
The more that I think about it, and you made a good point to me the other day on, I think it was the Patreon show, that like, they're absolutely deserving of all the criticism in the world for how this offseason went. Are we putting too much stock into that we're kind of ignoring how good this team is?
I mean, like last year, the Pythagorean had them as a 90-win team. So there was a little bit of bad luck there, but also some really bad bullpen, which is a big contributor. And obviously the offense was terrible for 5.5 months. So offense should be better than it was for most of last year. Not a high bar to clear, but still. The bullpen on paper should be better than it was last year without any major additions actually being made to it. Just guys getting healthy. And we know the rotation is really good. So, the Mariners don't have a lot of rotation depth. So if, 2 of these guys are missing time at the same time, it might be season over. It's definitely a bit of a scary situation to be in, but all 3 of these teams have holes, pretty big ones too. So,
and there's a very easy way that it can go sideways for all 3 teams.
Yes. One other thing to keep in mind, I'll just throw this out there. We get to the deadline. It's a 3-team race. The Mariners have more ammo than the other 2 teams combined to go out there and try to improve their team.
I think I'm going to go with the team that has the most upside. If you told me any of these teams was going to win 95 plus games this year, I'd pick the Mariners. I'm going to go with the Mariners to win the division. And
by the way, when we do this, when we do our Mariner predictions on Wednesday, they will be a wild card team in Ty's eyes.
I don't feel great about this. I really don't.
This might be both central.
I'm still debating it right now, even though that
I know you are.
Stake my claim.
It's like, be definitive, Ty. People don't like wishy-washy. They want
I get it.
Stances.
But look at this division. Look at these 3 teams. Like, honestly,
it's probably going to come down to whoever handles Oakland, and it's probably going to come down to who handles the A's and the Angels the best. So, we'll see. And the A's certainly are not going to be pushovers this year. So
no, I could see them winning like 80 games this year.
Yeah. The Angels are the Angels, and for some reason the Mariners always struggle to beat them. But they're obviously the worst team in this division. I think Seattle kind of has had the secret sauce against the Astros the last few years. They played very well against them, and they dominated the Rangers last year. Again, obviously different team, but whatever. So I'll take the Mariners for a lot of little reasons, understanding that they could totally easily finish 3rd in this division and once again be battling for their playoff lives in the last week of the year.
Yeah. But ask me again in an hour, I might say the Rangers.
This is what I would say. If you are a gambler, don't bet on this division. It is a sucker's bet.
Yeah, no.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
You're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So we have our division winners picked. Now let's pick our wild card winners. You want to start with the NL?
Sure. So I'm going to take the Phillies to win a wild card spot. I'm going to take the Padres still to win a wild card spot. And I'm going to take the Arizona Diamondbacks to win a wild card spot. The New York Mets missed the playoffs.
Yeah. Swap the Braves for the Phillies there on yours, and that's mine.
Yeah. I think the Diamondbacks and the Padres are really, really good. And if they played in any division other than the NL West, they would be heavy World Series favorites.
Yeah.
It's just they happen to play in perhaps, the same division as perhaps the most talented team ever assembled. And that sucks. But the Padres, they didn't add much, but they didn't really move much. They did add Pivetta, and so they didn't lose. They lost Profar, but yeah, I'm going to take the Padres one more time before I think they kind of are maybe forced to do a little bit of a restructure of their payroll and whatnot. So last ride for the Padres.
In the AL, I'm going to go Orioles. I'm going to go Royals. And I'm going to go Rangers. So one for each division.
I'm going to go Astros. I'm going to go it's a toss-up between the Orioles and the Yankees. I'll take the Astros. I'll take the Yankees.
Still. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll take the Mariners. Texas wins the division. I feel like the NL the Central has such an edge over everybody else because they get to play the White Sox 13 times apiece. So it feels like they're almost like being gifted 2 playoff spots, but it's like, do I really want to take like the Twins or the Guardians over the Rangers or the Orioles?
Yeah, that's kind of the debate that I was having was like.
Yeah. So I think I'll go Astros, Yankees. No, Astros, Orioles.
Yeah.
Texas.
Okay.
3 AL West teams.
All right, so let's get into award winners. Who's winning the NL and AL MVPs?
The NL is tough. Who to pick?
Yeah.
Obviously, Ohtani.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to throw in like a actual discussion worthy thing, which we don't have to discuss, but I'm throwing in just another player. I'll throw in, how about his teammate, one of the more overlooked players just in the grand scheme of baseball history, Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Dude is so good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's Ohtani. It's Ohtani's to lose, certainly.
Yeah, I've gotten cute the last couple of years that we've done this, and I've been like, yeah, I'm going to pick someone else over Ohtani.
One award.
Yeah. No, I'm not getting cute this time. I'm taking Ohtani. But, I mean, it could be Soto. He's back in the NL. Could be Mookie.
Place.
Could be Mookie. Could be Francisco Lindor.
Yep.
I'll throw out Ketel Marte as a dark horse as well, or even his teammate Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll's definitely more of a dark horse than Marte. Marte's still underrated, but it's like, yeah.
But well, it's just dark horse relative to, best player of literally all time. And then top 3 hitter in baseball right now, Juan Soto.
Reincarnated Ted Williams.
yeah.
Best player who ever played above him. And it's and then there's Mookie Betts, who's just going to be 100 WAR. Probably top 15, 20 player of all time, and nobody's going to care because he got overshadowed his entire career. Yeah.
AL MVP, I'm taking Bobby Witt. And I don't think he has to do anything different than he did last year. He just needs Aaron Judge to not be as insane as he was last year. But I mean, could Bobby go he went 30-30 last year? Could he go 30-40 this year? Sure. Could he go 35-40 this year? Sure.
You know who else could do that, Ty?
Julio Rodriguez.
Mr. Julio Rodriguez, who will finish 6th. I'm also going to take Bobby Witt Jr. I wonder maybe there's a little fatigue with Aaron Judge because he's just won it the last 2 years.
Yeah.
No, Ohtani won it. Did Judge win the last 2? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Gunnar Henderson's obviously going to factor in here as well. Julio definitely could be a factor in this race. A dark horse. Maybe.
Yeah, it was Ohtani in 2023.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of a dark horse here, although not really. Corey Seager. He can stay healthy. He's still a really good player. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Witt as well.
Yeah, this is a bit more open than the NL is.
Oh yeah, I mean Judge is probably still the heavy favorite, but yeah. I mean Jordan could win it. Like there's a lot of guys who have the chance. To
Gunner. Win it. Jaron Duran even. Yeah,
possible. Yeah.
Cy Youngs. This is where we typically get cute with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we've actually been pretty good at least getting close to predicting the winners.
I think
didn't we both have Alcantara a couple of years ago?
Yep. I think I had McClanahan one year. He had a really good year. I had Gallen, I think, last year.
Yeah. Didn't you pick Bailey over last year for the AL?
I think it was like my dark horse.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. I didn't look it up, but yeah. So this is a award I usually try and have like one like sleeper pick up my sleeve. So do I have one this year? I don't know.
So like obviously the favorite in the NL is Paul Skeens.
Oh yeah,
because of the hype around him.
Oh, yeah. I'd be surprised if he didn't win it.
I'm gonna get cute. I'm gonna go off the beaten path. I'm gonna take. What?
Don't
what?
I know who you're gonna take.
Actually, no. There's no way that you're gonna know who I'm gonna take. I
say it at the same time?
Sure.
Right.
3,
One,
2, 1.
Spencer
Logan Webb.
Oh, okay. Spencer. Now I'm forgetting his last name.
Strider?
Schwellenbach. No.
Oh, Schwellenbach?
Yeah. Just blanked on his last name. That's how dark of a horse that pick is. Can't even remember his name.
I'm gonna take Logan Webb.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's super dark horse, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's like what plus 4,000.
Yeah. Here, let me look it up.
I'll take Schwellenbach. It's part of the reason why I like the Braves so much.
Okay.
Right. If I was a betting man, I would bet on Paul Skeens. That's a pretty safe bet.
Logan Webb is plus 3,000 on FanDuel. Schwellenbach is plus 2,500.
Really?
Yeah. It goes so in order. It goes Skeens, Wheeler, Snell, Burns, Sale, Yamamoto, King, Alcantara, Cease, Strider, Glasnow, Christopher Sanchez. That's another one that I considered. Schwellenbach, Logan Webb, Hunter Green. So on the American League side of things,
more open now that Garrett Cole's out.
Yep. Schoolball's still here. Schoolball is really good.
Yeah, he's very, very good.
I'm going to get less cute with it here. I'm going to go Cole Reagans.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick.
Okay.
I don't like that we have the same pick, though, so let me think. You have Cole Reagans.
I mean, I also feel pretty strongly about Hunter Brown this year.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I bet on Logan Gilbert before I bet on Hunter Brown.
Bryce Miller feels very strongly about this year.
Sure. Yeah, Skubal, Reagans. Reagans is going to be my pick. If you told me McClanahan was going to be healthy all year, I might say Shane McClanahan.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take Reagans. I don't. We're already over time. I can't sit here and ponder. So I'm just going to take the guy I originally said I was going to take, who is Cole Reagans. Again, part of the reason why I'm really high on the Royals this year.
Yeah. I'll also throw out Gavin Williams of the Guardians as a dark horse.
I know you're a fan.
Yeah. Really
Tanner
like
Bybee.
Gavin Williams. Tanner Bybee is also a good one. Yeah. Rookie of the year. Technically, Jason Dominguez counts here for the
I'm not taking Jason Dominguez.
Yeah.
If you've debuted in like 4 separate seasons, you're not a rookie. I don't care what the rules are. I'm going to take Roman Anthony in the American League.
Yeah.
And then in the National League, Sasaki.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Sasaki. I'm actually gonna go Christian Campbell in the AL.
Okay, I was just trying to think like, how are they going to get Campbell on the field?
They'll find a way. Well, I mean, Trevor Story is going to get hurt first and foremost.
Sure. Well, I mean, second base might be open now because it sounds like Devers has finally accepted that he's mostly a DH.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll say Roman Anthony.
So, lastly, most important question here, Colby. Who wins the World Series? All right.
The temptation here is to say the Dodgers because they're so much better than everybody else. But as we know in baseball, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are going to lose in the divisional round in 5 games to the Atlanta Braves. I don't even know that maths probably doesn't because the seeding, but if they don't, then they'll lose in the NLCS to the Braves. Boom.
Sure.
Braves to the World Series. And then
the AL is so open.
So wide open. It could literally we talked about this on our Patreon show like I don't know, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like you could tell me that there's like 10 or 11 teams. You could tell me they're going to the World Series this year, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Mariners are a legitimate pick to go to the World Series this year, as mad as we all are. The Astros, the Rangers, any of the 4 teams in the Central, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles. I think I'm going to go Boston. I think we're going to get a good old Boston Braves versus Boston Red Sox matchup for all you baseball buffs, history buffs out there. And then I'll take Atlanta to win it all this year, just to be different.
Okay.
Knowing you should probably bet on the Dodgers.
I'm going to take...
can we at least agree on this, Ty? We don't really care. Like, if the Mariners aren't going to win the World Series, there's one thing we want. We want Dodgers, Padres, like best of 5 or best of 7 series.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the Mariners.
7.
Give me that.
Please.
Give me the NLCS, Dodgers, Padres. Yeah. That would be epic.
Yeah. Just we need that as baseball fans. Like, we need that every single year. Yeah. I'm going to take the Phillies to win the World Series.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a big Bryce Harper guy. Would love to finally see him get a ring. Again, for all the reasons that I said for, why I think they'll win the division. I think they'll win the World Series. I think that's one of the deepest rosters in baseball. Who do they beat in the World Series, though? That is the question. God, it's so wide open.
You need a D&D die to just randomly pick one.
You know what? I'm going to take the Royals. I'm going to take the Royals. Yeah, I know.
Take the Mariners, you coward.
I'm going to take the Royals as a wild card in my predictions to make a run to the World Series.
Bobby Witt trying to hold his own against Nola and Wheeler and Sanchez and Luzardo. Give me that. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun World Series. I don't need Dodgers Yankees to be really excited about a World Series matchup. It was fine. Don't get me wrong. But I would have been perfectly happy with Milwaukee, Kansas City last year. So I'm
just a fan of good ball, and Royals Phillies would be good ball.
Wide open, and good luck editing all of this. Anyways, that's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure tomorrow we are doing Fan Fiction Friday, reverse Uno card style. Ty and I are coming up with the trades.
That's right.
And you guys are going to grade us in the comments. And as a bonus, when you comment your grade on our trades, that counts as a comment to try and win the grand prize. So there you go. There you go. We will be operating under the assumption that the Mariners are buyers full send at the deadline, not straddling the fence, not selling. They're going to be all in at the deadline. That's how we will be operating tomorrow's Fan Fiction Friday. And like I said, leave a comment in this episode, get yourself and subscribe, get yourself entered to win our biggest contest ever. I would say so. And hey, easy comment for you guys to get yourself entered, at least as far as this episode goes. Again, you can leave a comment on any episode that we release between now and April 3rd, and that gets you more entries into the competition. Tell us your World Series winner. Tell us your World Series matchup. Send us your division winners, wildcard winners, all the stuff that we just did. Let us know down below. Give us your Dark Horse Cy Young Award winner. We don't need a novel. Maybe just pick one of them. But, if you want to pick all of them, sure, go ahead. What do we? Sure. The comment, please. Whatever. All right. That is going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby, Pat, and Oda, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez, Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.